Welcome, and thank you for joining us for the Axiom Space's AX1 pre-launch briefing. We're excited about today and the upcoming launch. Moments ago, the leaders at NASA, SpaceX, and Axiom Space met for the pre-launch for the Launch Readiness Review, the LRR, and today they'll discuss a little bit about what was talked about at the LRR and what it looks like for tomorrow's launch. Joining us today is Derek Hasman, Axiom's Operations Director, Dana Weigel, International Space Station Deputy Program Manager from NASA, Angela Hart, the NASA Commercial LEO Program Manager, Benjamin Reed, Senior Director of Human Spaceflight Programs at SpaceX, and Brian Cizek, Launch Weather Officer of the 45th Weather Squadron. Following remarks, we'll take questions from reporters here who have joined us at the Kennedy Space Center press site and also those on the phone bridge. If you have a question, please remember to state your name, organization, and keep it one question per person to make sure we have space for all the reporters that are joining us today. With that, we'll begin with Derek Hasman from Axiom.
Thank you, Bettina, and good afternoon to everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here today. I'm very excited to be just a day away from what will be the launch of the historic AX1 mission. There's a lot of things about it that are unprecedented and very different than all the previous missions up to this date. So I'll just take a couple of minutes to talk about those. As most of you, I'm sure, know, there have been private citizens that have gone to the International Space Station and into low Earth orbit. But in terms of the International Space Station, it has typically been a single individual as part of a three-person crew. So a single private citizen and then two government astronauts. In the case of the AX1 mission, it's very different in that the entire crew are unaffiliated with any government. Our commander is an Axiom employee, who many of you will be familiar with because of his NASA career, Michael Lopez Alegria. And then the other three are individuals really from across the world. Larry Connor from the United States, Eitan Stibbe from Israel, and Mark Pathy from Canada. So we've got an international crew that has planned a series of experiments and payloads and other activities on orbit that have all been tailored to their relationships and interests. If you look at Larry Connor in particular, he's had previous relationships with both the Mayo and the Cleveland Clinic. So we have facilitated and collaborated with him and those entities in order to design his payload science that he's doing during his mission. And that's another unique aspect of this mission, is that the suite of activities are dependent on the individual's interest. So we've worked with them over the past year and a half or so to build a very robust and significant suite of experiments and activities that we're going to do during this 10-day mission. And we are laser focused on that mission. Of course, the priority, as always, is to keep the crew safe, to successfully execute the mission, and to maximize the experience for our crew members. But I'll just take a second to look at the bigger picture from an Axiom perspective. You know, the company was formed in order to build the next commercial space station, and we'll launch that first module of that commercial space station in late 2024. It will be connected to the ISS, and we'll gradually build out that space station between that period from 2024 to 2030, with the goal of eventually separating and providing the commercial LEO destination of choice once ISS has been retired. So this precursor mission is the first of several that will lead up to that 2024 module launch. We're going to build our relationships both with NASA and with SpaceX. We're going to demonstrate the capabilities that Axiom brings to the table so that that eventual transition from ISS to the commercial Axiom station is smooth and efficient and very productive for all folks involved. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here today. I appreciate everybody's interest, and especially to be taking part in this press conference with our tremendous partners in this endeavor, both NASA and SpaceX. And it's been a year and a half or so of very hard work since we've been designing the mission essentially from scratch, doing something that's never been done before in exactly this way. But it's very rewarding and thrilling to be a day away. And you'll hear more from Benji about the fact that the rocket and the spacecraft are in great shape and ready to go. I can vouch that the crew is also well-prepared, well-trained, and great spirits, and they're ready to go as well. And looking forward to launching tomorrow.
Thank you
Bettina?
so much, Derek. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Dana Weigel, International Space Station Deputy Program Manager at NASA.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here today. Great to see so many faces in person after such a long dry spell, so that's great to see. Let's see, the space station team is really excited for this first-of-its-kind mission and also to be kind of on the leading edge of helping to commercialize low Earth orbit. Very exciting for us to be partnered in that campaign, both with Angela's team and also with the Axiom and SpaceX teams. It's been really, really busy for us on board the vehicle. Over the last few weeks, we've had 2 U.S. spacewalks. We welcomed a new Soyuz crew. As you all know, last week Mark Vande Hei came home on the Soyuz with his cosmonaut crewmates. He did set a new record, which is really exciting for us. He has the longest single spaceflight mission of any American with 355 days on orbit, which is really impressive. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be launching Axiom. After the Axiom mission, actually during the mission, if it launches on time, we will have 1 Russian EVA, and then not long after that, we've got another Russian EVA. As you know, right after the Axiom mission, we'll be launching Crew 4, and then Crew 4 and Crew 3 will do about a 5-day handover on board with each other, and then we'll bring Crew 3 home. In May, mid-May, we've got the Boeing OFT-2 mission that we're looking forward to, and then in early June, we've got the SpaceX 25 mission. So a lot of activity going on, and to echo what Derek says, safety is always our highest priority, and so we're willing and able to stop, take a closer look at whatever we need to. But in terms of space station, we're in great shape and ready for all of these missions. The Axiom mission itself will dock to our Node 2 Zenith port, and their docked portion of the mission will be around 8 days long. Derek mentioned some of the activities they're doing. One of the really neat things for us is the research that he was talking about is sponsored through our Space Station National Lab. And so this is a great opportunity for us to be able to open up the space station's world-class research facilities to a whole new user community. So that's really exciting for us as well. I did talk to the onboard crew last week, and they're getting ready for the mission. They're really excited to welcome the Axiom crew on board and excited to get to be part of this first-time historic mission. You know, that was a big point that they made, is that, this is pretty exciting for them too. It's new to them. Folks always ask us where people are sleeping on board, so I figured I'd go ahead and just throw that tidbit out there in anticipation of being asked. Similar to what we do when we have direct handovers and extra people on board, we go and kind of look at the real estate and what's going on to figure out where to best put people. So we'll have 1 crew member in Dragon, 1 in our airlock, and we'll have 2 people in Columbus. One of them will be we've got a new crew quarters that we flew up, so 1 will be there. The rest will be kind of in a camp-out configuration, just like what we do with our crew during direct handovers. The Axiom, SpaceX, and NASA teams have been working really, really hard to put this mission together. Everything from trying to figure out what minimal level of training is required for day in the life on board ISS to what to do to get trained on the payload facilities. All of that's new to us. And then all of the onboard activities are new, including integration with our international partners. So it's really been a really large team effort to get ready for it. I think the teams are ready. They're ready to go launch and go fly this mission. And so I very much appreciate all the hard work they've been doing to get us to this point. And with that, Bettina, I will hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Dina. Next, we'll hear from Angela Hart, NASA Commercial LEO Program Manager.
Yes, first I want to thank everyone and reiterate what my colleagues have already said. We're super excited to be here today. Really appreciating you being here at Kennedy Space Center, braving the weather this afternoon, hoping that'll be a good sign and it'll clear up for us tomorrow. So, and glad that there's a lot of interest in this. As everybody has noted, this is a historic event. It is, we are super happy to be here to report our readiness and our readiness to move forward with launch tomorrow. This mission really represents a significant milestone for our plans for the development of a sustainable LEO economy. It is one step forward in the overall strategy that NASA had put forward a few years ago to stimulate demand by utilizing the ISS to conduct commercial activities. This mission, which we call a private astronaut mission, and you may have heard the acronym PAM used sometime when people are talking about it, is one of many that we hope to continue to have. They are going to be conducting additional commercial activities that we've not done before on ISS, so the further use of ISS to strengthen our industry partnerships to continue to do more and more commercial activities on station. It is also, as Derek mentioned, a stepping stone toward their demonstration of activities that they will use as they move forward in the development of commercial LEO destinations, which is a prime goal of my program. And so we're super excited to see this. We know we're going to learn a lot from this first mission, working side by side in a very aggressive schedule on orbit during those 8 days between the NASA astronauts and the private astronauts. We're committed to continue these future private astronaut missions, and we are currently working to finalize our contract with Axiom for the second private astronaut mission that is being worked as we speak. And then we also plan to put out a solicitation, an open solicitation in this year for follow-on private astronaut missions after we go through our lessons learned on this first mission. So very, very excited to see this happen. This started before I took over as a commercial LEO development program manager, and really excited to see this vision that was started on ISS come to pass. Want to thank real quickly all the teams, both NASA, Axiom, and SpaceX. We've had to work through a lot of different new processes, new procedures, new policies, to allow the expansion of items on commercial activities on station, and really proud of the team to make that happen. Still lots of work that needs to be done to continue to formulate our strategy on how we'll move forward in developing the commercial economy. We're already seeing lots and lots of interest. This is a super exciting time. If you haven't had the opportunity to see the pictures, and you'll be able to see it possibly later, seeing both vehicles out there at the pad, is extremely exciting for all of us. Very busy, very exciting time to be partnering with the industry, and I have very, very high hopes for where we're moving forward for commercialization. So with that, I'm appreciative and honored to be here with you today, and really looking forward to the mission tomorrow. Thanks, Bettina.
Thank you, Angela. And I agree. If you have an opportunity to look at the pad and see those rockets up there, it is an amazing moment, and it really emphasizes where we are in the space industry today. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Benji Reed, the Senior Director of Human Spaceflight Programs at SpaceX.
Thank you, Bettina. First of all, good afternoon here in Florida. It's great to be back here and ready to fly humans again to space. Tomorrow we will be flying Michael, Larry, Eitan, and Mark to the space station. Has been talked about quite a bit already. And then when their mission is over, bring them back home safely to their families. We've said it before, and we'll say it again. This is a sacred honor. We are truly honored to be part of this transportation service that we can provide to Axiom. In their endeavor to build space stations, to continue to expand what we want to do in space. This is all part of making humans a spacefaring civilization, of taking life on this planet across the stars eventually. And it gives me chills just to think about this is another step in that process, and another first, right? We, again, talked about, Derek already mentioned it, but this is a first of sending an all-commercial crew to the International Space Station. And it's not just that they're going to go for a visit, right? It's really important to emphasize, and we've talked about it already, but they've done a ton of training specific to the space station. They've worked hard to understand how they can be contributing members of a national laboratory. And that's pretty darn cool as far as I'm concerned. And they get and of course they've trained to be in Dragon. They've trained to be, astronauts aboard Dragon, spend the time going up and coming down. But really the meat of this is that they get to be on station doing science, doing research. And that's really great. And I think it bodes very well to see this level of preparation go into this mission as we look towards the future, again, of all of us being able to live and work in space. I just think that's awesome. Tomorrow at 11:17 a.m. here, Florida time, we'll be getting ready to launch them. The good news is that Dragon and Falcon, as Eric mentioned, are in good shape. They're on track right now to be ready for that launch. Kind of looking at the weather for those of us who are maybe trapped in our cars an hour ago, watching these winds come through. But the good news is the weather's starting to look a little bit better. I'll let the actual local weather get talked about here in a second, but I can at least address the ascent and abort track weather. And overall, that's starting to trend a little bit better too, right? We've got a number of points where winds have gone down under the threshold, and which also looks good for lightning and, of course, waves as well as those winds go down. So it's looking really good. Again, it's an honor to be part of this, to be here again with a lot of friends and colleagues from many years of work. Ever since my first day at SpaceX, I've been working here with Angela. And I can attest to all of these great folks that we get to be here and be part of this. And finally, of course, a big thank you as part of that length of partnership to NASA. And for helping us all to do this, to continue NASA's ultimate goal, and to the 45th Space Wing for everything that they do. And finally, a shout out to everybody at SpaceX and all of their families and for all the work that they do to help us do this. So thank you, and thank you. Back to you, Bettina.
Thank you, Benji. And next will be Brian Sizak, Launch Weather Officer for the 45th Weather Squadron.
Thanks, Bettina. And I see a lot of umbrellas and rain jackets in the audience right now. And the good news is that the weather tomorrow and through the weekend will be a lot better than the weather that we saw today. Obviously, we had some thunderstorms that reached the severe threshold. We got some wind gusts over 50 knots here at Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. But high pressure will be rolling in tomorrow and through the weekend and looking a lot better weather-wise here at Kennedy Space Center. So why don't we take a live look at the satellite right now, and you can see a lot of activity over Central Florida right now, some thunderstorms moving through the state, and all of those are associated with a cold front that is pushing through the area. And what that is going to allow is for much cooler and drier air to push into the region as we head into tomorrow and through the weekend, as well as high pressure will move over the area. So really no lightning launch commit criteria concerns, really mainly just keeping an eye on some of those winds. So why don't we look at the forecast for the primary launch day tomorrow, just a 10% probability of violation, mainly just tracking some of those northwest winds around 15 to 20 miles per hour. But overall, we are looking good. I do want to emphasize we're primarily focused on the launch conditions here at Kennedy Space Center, but we're also working with the SpaceX team and our partners over the Spaceflight Meteorology Group in Houston to track the conditions along the entire ascent corridor as well. And then why don't we head to the backup day for Saturday. A little bit windier, still just a 20% probability of violation. None of those lightning launch commit criteria concerns, just kind of looking at those liftoff winds. Still a little bit breezy coming from the northwest, around 17 to 22 miles per hour. And then as we head into Sunday, the weather is looking fantastic. High pressure essentially camping directly overhead. It's going to be a bad day to be a cloud here at Kennedy Space Center on Sunday, but overall, weather looking good for Sunday as well. So that's about all I have for weather.